Sheri Atcheson, it's a pleasure to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you, Tamie, and I am so excited to be here with you.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out today to do this with me. So, I'd like to begin by allowing you to introduce yourself to my audience. Can you please share with them your specialties?
Well, thank you. So I have done a lot of studying throughout my whole entire life, and I actually started studying way back when I was just a kid. I started with sociology, psychology, and I did that through our libraries at school, and I was like 11, 12, and so I did many things. And I was someone, I never spoke, I never looked at people, and I just knew that I needed to break that and figure out why I was being that way and why I was so afraid of people, even getting to see me or anything like that. So I started studying these subjects. But then, throughout life, I've had to do the old 9 to 5 corporate jobs. And finally, just recently, a few years ago, when my mom passed away, I decided that I would leave my corporate job and really do what I've wanted to do, and that is be like a motivational speaker. But I got involved with Marissa Peer, first of all, because I really liked her technique as far as um, how she got rapid results for people. And that's the answer, not dragging a problem out. And then I also, after that, I studied manifestation coaching. I became certified there, and I've studied virtual coaching. And here we are now. So I just love helping people as much as I can.
That you're absolutely amazing and you have so many gifts to help people in this world. I totally agree with Marissa Peer's method, the rapid transformational therapy, because it allows people to achieve healing in a much shorter time span than otherwise. People are often in counseling for many years. They may even have to switch to different counselors and still find that their root causes of the problems are not addressed. So when I found out that one of your many gifts is actually practicing Marissa Peer's rapid transformational therapy approach, I was really awestruck. So I think that it's just incredible that you offer that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And this is the thing, and I'm just a true believer. Time is so precious. And when I see people swim in their past and swim with things that affected them since a young age, and I get it, it happens to every one of us, but it's the time that they stay there. And, like one of my favorite things to say is, it's okay to visit, but you can't live there, rent's up. You have to move on, but they don't know how. They don't know how to move. So that's the beauty about coaching and helping people through hypnotherapy is that you can help them pack their boxes and decide where they want to place them, find a new location to live, and ensure that they're happy and safe.
What a wonderful perspective. And you've helped quite a number of people so far. This is where I'm thinking that your gifts are really going to come in handy for the university students that I'm coaching, because I'm offering a coaching program to help teach them how to achieve excellence in university, and others who may be going through rough times. This is where they can turn to somebody like you and really help address the root cause of it, which could actually stem from issues that manifested in their life many, many years ago.
Yeah, this is so true. A lot of times, the number one thing that afflicts professional people is stress, anxiety, and depression. And these are also the symptoms that a lot of people encounter, including university students, where you have an atmosphere of pressures and uncertainty and different avenues of information and responsibilities just at you all the time. It builds up and it builds up, and therefore starts causing this domino effect of stress, anxiety, leading to depression. If you can get the right tools to learn how to handle those things and even really ward them off before they become too detrimental, then your rate of success is just going to skyrocket. However, I can tell you a lot of how we react to multiple avenues of pressure and responsibility really stems from our childhood much of the time. It could be because this is how we saw our parents deal with it, and it became embedded in us that this is life, this is how you react to stress, this is what it means to have too much on your plate and you can't handle it. As a child, you're so impressionable and you learn all of this from your surroundings. So we grow into adults, and by golly, we're just sitting there and we're repeating the same patterns. So it's a matter of reprogramming your subconscious mind and creating brand new healthy patterns so that you can live a much happier life.
Excellent. So you came to do this because of that inquiry that you had in your early childhood?
Yeah, definitely. I never was someone who wanted to run with the flow of something that was negative or hurtful. I knew at a young age that I didn't have to be like the people in my surroundings. And I had this curiosity. And I have to tell you, I've always been a loner. And it was hard for me to connect to people. But I knew at the same time that I was meant to go out there and really help people. And a lot of why I didn't allow myself to connect was because I wanted to stay neutral. I didn't want to be influenced by running with this pack of people or running with that pack of people and conforming to their way of thinking and how they behave in society and so on and so forth. I wanted to remain on a neutral ground, stay open-minded, stay positive. So I knew at a young age that this was what I was meant to do, even throughout my corporate career, which I just, every time I took a job, I soared to the top because I wanted to know more and more and more. Well, I've done the same thing with the studying life and how people behave in society and how we behave within our homes, how we treat each other. So I've got just so much information on this and experience. And yet I still made mistakes throughout my adult life. But every time I made a mistake, it wasn't brushing it off. It was really analyzing the situation and, like finding out and admitting what I did wrong, allowing myself to be a doormat, what my weaknesses were, what my strengths were. So all of this is in my subconscious. And when I started my education on all of this, it just kind of came out. I have an amazing library of information and true life stories. So, and yet I can wake up every day and be absolutely positive and happy unless I'm super, super tired. And that's the truth.
That goes for all of us, though. I think that when we're all struggling with exhaustion, we're not ourselves, but it's good to develop self-awareness for sure. And why are you so passionate about this subject of healing people, getting people past those blockages?
Because we do not need to stay stuck. We do not need to live with this everyday torture of anxiety and stress and falling into depression. I have met so many angry, uncomfortable, unhappy people. And here's the thing, when I look at a person, I see the beauty in them. I always have. I look at anybody and I notice really positive aspects about them. And then it's their attitude that they have, how they talk, what they complain about, no drive, no lack of ambition. And I just feel so bad because when I look at this beautiful being, they cannot even see the potential that they have, so I just want to help them so bad that it's possible. And yes, our lives, our past have, brought us to where we are today. But you know what? If you can look back at even the roughest times, think about the character that you hold within yourself.
Mhm.
That's what needs to shine. And it gets buried. It gets buried. So I like to help them uncover that, really see their self-worth and just what wonderful people they are. And it just warms my heart to do it. I just love it. And like I said, time is precious. Don't waste any more of your life being unhappy and feeling these chains of anxiety and stress weigh you down.
I totally agree with you. Fabulous. Can you give us 3 keys to happiness? I'm sure everybody would love to know those secrets.
Well, 3 keys to happiness. The first thing I can tell you that is really important is accept your past and let it go and embrace all the good lessons that you learned from it. And that means that you need to take inventory of who you are as a person and really acknowledge all the wonderful things about you, which we don't do nearly enough. We just take it for granted. We take ourselves for granted. Your past is your past. It created, like I said, the character that you have, but don't let your past bury your present or your ambitions for your future. Stop living in the past. So that's key number 1. Key number 2 is really respecting your self-worth and your self-value. Again, this goes to taking inventory of yourself. Acknowledge your talents. Acknowledge everything that you're good at. And once you acknowledge it, you really should put it to better use, polish it up. I like to say, just get that dust off of it, because you've had your self-worth and self-esteem and self-confidence sitting on a shelf, and I'm pretty sure it's quite dusty. Just take those puppies off the shelf and polish them up and really take a deep look into them and see just how beautiful they are. Because you know what? As negative as your past was, it's still installed some really good aspects about your self-worth. You survived, you overcame, you're stronger than you know. So it's these types of things that you really need to give yourself credit for. And that's what you live with. Those thoughts, those beliefs, not what happened to you. And finally, the last key to happiness is that once you start establishing self-respect and setting good boundaries and safe boundaries, once you start respecting yourself, you will feel more complete, happier. And the more you respect yourself, you will be amazed at what you do and you don't tolerate from other people. So they start to respect you as well. And I'm telling you that when you see this cycle, it really makes you feel accomplished, achieved, and that you matter. And that is a true key to happiness. Just embrace it all.
Such beautiful words of wisdom and positivity. It's always so nice to be able to sit down and connect with you. And not everybody has those gifts, Coach Sheri. So I think anybody who's looking for someone to talk to iron out any past problems, to get over any past blockages, you'd be the perfect person. You have so much to offer. It's just wonderful. Now, but it takes 2 to tango. And what makes your clients so successful? Because they definitely will have to do some work too to be able to overcome their obstacles. So, what do your clients need to be successful?
Okay. Oh, I tell you, I hold my clients accountable for everything. I really do. You know, the thing of it is, I care so deeply for my clients. I dearly love them, but they know I love them. But they also know that I am here to be the handrail, but they have to walk the steps or nothing is going to happen. So that's the scenario I use with all my clients. I am with my clients every single step of the way. And I don't let them fall back on negative talk. I don't allow it. So I'm kind of a strict coach because we talk so negative so easy. A lot of people do, and I catch them all the time. And I go, no, I don't want to hear what you didn't do. I want to hear what you did do. And I turn their thinking completely around, even when they're having a conversation with me, even when we have our weekly meetings. I have the whole thing where it's like I catch them every single time. but I also praise them for just the littlest steps that they take towards achieving their goals and their accomplishments. And so if they want to talk about a failure, I love turning things around, because when I see a client, I don't view my client as the failure they already perceive. I view my client as the successful person that I see in them already. So it's a beautiful thing. I have an end goal for my client, and I see them slowly walking towards that goal. And I don't quit until they make that goal. I I still let them know you've got more work to do. And I've got really cool exercises and assignments for them every single week. They love it. They absolutely love it, because a lot of comments I get, they're like, I would have never thought of doing that. And to me, you know me, I'm a creative person, you know, so I do. I put this on my clients and I explain it. Here's a key to coaching. I'll tell you right now. It's one thing to tell a client what to do. That's fine and dandy. But that is like a halfway instruction. You need to explain to them why. And a lot of
Exactly.
times,
Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of times I'll say, even if this doesn't make sense to you, trust me, there's a reason why. And so I'll let them do an exercise for a couple of weeks, and then we'll review it. And I will actually make them tell me the reason why this was important. And it makes them think, and it ingrains that, it embeds that into their subconscious. And then it's light bulb moments all the time. I get it. So I love it. It's fun. But I handle all my clients with care and consideration. And I treat them as if they don't have a single friend in the world. And I want to be their voice that keeps telling them, I matter, I'm lovable, I'm good enough, until they start saying it themselves.
Phenomenal. I really liked that piece also where you mentioned that it's okay to fail. And failure is part of that process towards success.
Yeah.
And I've heard of some people even celebrating failures, because what that means is that people are getting close to their success. So I think that it's really interesting that you acknowledge failure as part of that process towards success, and that you don't, get down on anybody for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was a kid, we were supposed to be perfect, and we were disciplined quite harshly if we weren't perfect. So we, as children, we're always striving for perfection. That's a lot of the reason why I kept going to the top of whatever career I stepped into. I wanted to know more. I wanted to do better. So on one hand, and this is a perfect example for whoever's watching, here was a negative thing in my life as a child. Am I going to sit there and stew over, I was made to be perfect, I was made to be perfect, I hated it? No, that isn't the language I tell myself. The language I tell myself is, I didn't like it at the time when I was a kid, but by God, I am so grateful for the lessons I learned, because I have a hard work ethic and I take pride in what I do. But here's the beautiful thing. I don't beat myself up if I mess up, because you know what? I'm only human. And when my clients mess up, according to how they feel, I tell them, what did you learn? Focus on what you learned. Don't focus on the failure, because every successful person, and to me, you will agree with me on this, how many failures has a successful person had in their entire life? Exactly. It's like whoever invented making or baking a cake. Do you think they threw in all the right ingredients to make a delicious cake the first time? Nah, I doubt it. But boy, when they did, they got the recipe right. So that's what we do as coaches. We give them the recipe, and then it's up to them to bake the cake. It's just that simple. So failure really needs to be looked at in a broader aspect and in a more positive light. and not let society keep telling us how bad it is that we fail. So it's all about us changing our way of thinking. This is where it comes in really handy, especially for these university students, because they're getting out there in the world. This is the cream of the crop for getting these students to really understand that it's okay to fail as long as you learn. Same message I told all my employees that I've had so many employees. They were so worried about messing up. Am I going to get fired or whatever? No, I would bring them in and I would say, what did you learn from your mistake? What is the right way to do things? Do you think you can do it? And I just had all this patience with them and stuff. So yeah, that's how you deal with failure.
Do you think university students most need to know when it comes to trying to get a grip on depression or anxiety? Because when I was teaching at the university, those are the two medical conditions that the university students came to tell me about the most that they are struggling with. And the statistics reflect that too, that depression and anxiety are definitely present among some university students. So what do you think that they most need to know in terms of trying to address depression or anxiety when completing their studies?
This is a higher percentage than people realize as far as university students going back to school. I believe the last statistic that I read was 82%.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to quote the study I got that from, but I've read several different studies and it varies between 62%, 82%.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, it's over 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of university students. Here is the thing. Our brains are wired to want to belong to a tribe. There's nothing we can do about it. This is how we're wired. We want to belong to a tribe. So we have university students walking into a brand new world, or even if they're returning university students, it's still a brand new world because there's more freedom with university. It's like being an adult. You're transitioning from your high school, going into adulthood, but yet you're still in this campus environment. Here clicks in the brain. They want to belong to a tribe. So it can be nerve-wracking, anxiety can set in, but here's what a lot of university students do without even realizing it. They immediately start comparing themselves to other people, sizing other people up, sizing themselves up against other people. And that's where it starts messing with their heads. So that's why it's so important that we reach out to all these university students. This is a preventive measure. And that is working with each person, especially university students, to own who they are, embrace their own uniqueness. Don't feel the need to measure up against another person because there's no one else in the world like you. You are one of a kind, you are unique, and you need to know that. And here is the really cool thing, that as soon as you start embracing who you are and knowing who you are and loving who you are, respecting who you are, setting those boundaries, like-minded people are going to come around you. You're going to actually be a part of a tribe because you're going to be in a healthy set where your community is comprised of people who have self-confidence, self-esteem. And these are the students that are not a part of that statistic. They respect themselves enough to know when they're stressing out or if they feel the onset of depression. And we have so many wonderful tips to share with all these students. It's your environment. It's like I said, hanging out with like-minded people. There's so many preventive measures to ward off horrible anxiety and horrible depression. So it's just so important that we help as many university students as possible and get our message out, for sure.
I agree with you, definitely. And I understand that you have an offer that you would like to present to our listeners today.
Yes, I do. So, and I am on this, I'm a very spontaneous person, let's just put it this way. And I just really have this need. I don't know if it's just I love fall. It's my favorite time of the year. It's a change. It's like a change in season for me. So with that being said, I have felt very spontaneous about this and very driven. I want to pay it forward. I want to help people out there, just give them a gift. And all I ask in return is that they pay it forward to another person. So my gift is that I want as many people as possible to contact me so that they can have an entire session with me. No strings attached, nothing. But in that one session, I've got some amazing things that I can share with them, some tools they can take away. That's my way of paying it forward, in hopes that they will use the tools to make their lives a little better. And all I ask is that they go out there and in return do something nice for another person. So I really want to see how this goes.
That is such a generous and kind offer. Thank you so much, Coach Sheri. And I've got the link. And when I post this video, I'm going to be providing that link for our viewers as well. So that's just fabulous. And I've known you now for quite some time, and it's been such a treat getting to know you. And I think back to how we met, and we met in an entrepreneurial coaching program where we were challenged to do videos of ourselves and our offer. And I remember this one video that you recorded, and it was just so attention grabbing and creative. And it really caught my eye. And this is where I was admiring you and saying, wow, she really has something artistic to offer in addition to substantive content. And I wonder if you would be willing to share that video with our viewers today.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we show this video, and it's really short, but it's funny. So I post videos all the time, but I have not done one quite like this. But like I said, I'm spontaneous. I wanted to be creative, and I wanted to get the point across that, hey, you can be found, but you'll have to watch the video. So everybody really needs to check this video out. It really is kind of goofy. So bear with me a second here.
Perfect. Well, I really loved it.
Oh, beautiful. Welcome to the Universal Lost and Found. I've been working here for quite some time, and I really keep an eye on you. Hang on just a second. How can I help you? What's that? You're lost? I got you. No, really, I've got you. I found you a long time ago. I've been waiting for you to contact me. So let's take these 4 keys and open up that storage bin so that you can get yourself. I'll help you.
I thought it was just brilliant. And when I first saw that video, I felt like you were speaking to me. And I'm sure that your other viewers felt the same way. You have a very special, genuine quality that makes you stand out, where when you speak, you catch people's attention, you draw them in. And when people get to know you, they get to know your caring, they get to know your multiple skill sets and areas of expertise. And this is where it's been such a blessing to have you in my life as a fellow colleague in entrepreneurship. And it's such a blessing to have you in my life because you're not only blessing my life with your collegiality, but you are now somebody that I can introduce to my audience, which I'm so thankful for.
Oh, you're so wonderful and so sweet. And I have to tell you that one thing is I don't brag a lot, but I am genuine and I am truthful. I'm clunky sometimes. I'm
No,
goofy,
not at all.
but I tell you what, I love to laugh but I care the most about helping people. I really get involved with their feelings. I tune in. You, honest to God, have been such a blessing in my life. I am so glad that quirky little video literally brought us together, because now you and I are doing so many amazing things to help people. I'm really excited about what our future holds and just how we are collaborating together to help just an amazing amount of people. And we're hitting them from all angles in a good way. That's,
Well,
that's
that's
what
the
I'm saying.
thing.
But you've been the light of my life for just months now. I'm so blessed to have you.
Likewise, completely. And not only my life, but the lives of my students who are coming to know you and who are working with you. So, and this is where it is quite amazing to think about how our niches overlap and how we are able to join forces to help these people who are in most need. And having been through the university process throughout my adult life, and now at this point where I can teach people at the university level, and having done that over the last couple of years, this is where we really have to take a step back and ask ourselves, what more can we offer the students? Because although the students are presented with a myriad of resources, they're still suffering. They're still coming across stumbling blocks. And having been through some life experiences myself, I've come to realize talk counseling is only so helpful. And having been through Marissa Peer's program, Uncompromised Life, having experienced hypnotherapy to heal some of the trauma, this is where I can really step forward and vouch for this method that you are actually sharing with your audience. So I'm super thankful that you have these gifts and that you're qualified. You've got the license to teach this. It's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And, likewise, I have seen you in action when it comes to how you help these students really with their academic, getting that academic mindset right. And you've thought of every angle that I could even imagine to help the students. And what I love about collaborating with you is that we're basically helping, or the program that we have is to help students inside and out. It's
Mhm.
just amazing. And I have not seen anything like this on the market at all.
Neither have I.
We have the best of both worlds for these students. So I'm really excited about that. And, as we go down the road, there's other areas too where we can offer them the best of both worlds, as far as getting, creating your best life, your best experience ever, no matter what your occupation is or what you do. We have so many amazing tools between the two of us, especially. And we do collaborate with a lot of other beautiful people in our lives as well that are very helpful. But the thing of it is, the support's out here. And so we can help from the inside out for so many people. But I'm really passionate about this, the university students program that we're creating, as I know you are too. And you are like mind-blowing brilliant. And I call it like I see it. I just do. I don't mince. I call it like I see it. And I know a good egg when I see one, and that's what you are.
Oh, likewise, that's how I feel about you. And we are also blessed to be surrounded by other entrepreneur colleagues who are working in niches that are complementary to ours. And this is where we're organizing a special event that's going to be coming up in a few weeks. And for those of you who are interested in learning more, please feel free to follow us, sign up for our email lists so that you can stay apprised of that information. But as soon as we get some dates firmed up, we will be inviting you to those special events.
And I am really excited about this because we are going to present something to the public, and it's going to be amazing. We have amazing people who are going to collaborate with us. I'm very excited, but you have to follow us in order to see what's going on. So that's the only catch. You've got to keep watching. You've got to keep watching our channels so that you are staying in the loop, because then we will be making the big announcement. And we're not only going to do this once, we're going to do it twice so far. So there's some really cool things coming on down the road.
Yeah, but you'll definitely want to try to catch that debut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. So I have multiple links that I'm going to be sharing with our viewers. I'm going to be inviting them to your Facebook group, which is absolutely amazing. You have a website, and that's paramountmindset.com. You have an email list that they can opt into simply by emailing you, I believe, to request to be added to that list. What other things are you inviting people to hop on board for?
Oh, well, that's the main thing right now, Calendly,
Yeah,
if
your offer call for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And I've actually created a special link, which I think I need to send to you, but I've created a special link, especially for the Pay It Forward program
Oh,
that I have.
perfect.
And
Okay.
that's the one that I would love people to use because it is 60 minutes, just you and me, and we're going to just see what needs to take place. So
Fabulous, Coach Sheri. Thank you so much for coming in today. It's always a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I love chatting with you every time.
Likewise. Until next time.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.